Alright, imagine it's 2,000 years ago, and all of your kind is hell-bent on controlling everyone and everything in the universe. And they're willing to do anything to accomplish this goal, meaning they'll destroy entire civilizations and even planets if they refuse to bend their knee to the Viltrum Empire. With all this in mind, you're placed in the system and raised with these ideals, being taught at a young age what your purpose is: to conquer. Your brain is very susceptible at this age, and as a result, these ideals are drilled into your brain. Once you've grown up and passed all these gruesome tests thrown your way, you head out into the universe to divide and conquer until you die of old age or in battle. Most likely in battle. Omni-Man, despite being raised this way and successfully conquering planets for thousands of years, was somehow pulled out of this cycle, after spending only 20 years on Earth. Today I'm going to dive into how Omni-Man was able to realize his wrongdoings, as well as betray the core values he possessed for thousands of years. First things first, Viltrumites don't think what they're doing is bad. They believe they're saving people through advancing and fixing what they believe is a pathetic excuse for a civilization.
Pathetic excuse for a civilization.
And if the planet refuses, well, they feel that since the people on the planet don't live a long time, then their lives don't matter anyways. And they'll purge them. So Nolan arrives on Earth, posing as Omni-Man, the world's most powerful superhero.
But why didn't Nolan just attack as soon as he got there? It would have been so much easier.
Well, you little bitch, I believe he did it for two reasons. A, their intentions are to ultimately make this civilization better. So, maybe Nolan thought that if he could gain the trust of the people, then they would be more likely to accept the Viltrumite rule. Obviously, this would never be the case, and I think Nolan realized this over time. But by the time he realized, he was married to Debbie and had Mark, so he needed to wait and make sure Mark obtained his powers before he made any extreme decisions. And B, meeting Debbie in the first place. It's not confirmed how long Nolan was on Earth, but I assume it was only around 20 years, as that's how long he and Debbie had been married, and when Nolan first arrived, he met a slightly younger Cecil, so he couldn't have been there for too long. Debbie taught Nolan how to be human over the course of 20 years. He started to appreciate the smaller aspects of life, such as watching a young Mark play baseball. He went from thinking it was pointless and a waste of time to cheering out of pure excitement and joy when Mark hit a homer. Nolan wasn't happy when Mark got his powers, because he knew what he would have to do.
Guess who's finally getting his powers?
Are you sure?
He enjoyed having an excuse for not taking over, but now that his excuse is gone, he has to carry out Viltrum's plan. This forced him into killing the Guardians of the Globe, having to carry out his plan early due to Cecil and Debbie eventually figuring it out. Alright, after doing research for this video, this wasn't mentioned in the show, but I learned that Nolan actually had 500 years to carry this out. It's apparently what the Viltrumites consider a vacation. Which makes me question why he did it so early. Like, at least wait for Debbie to die, man. She shouldn't have had to deal with all that. Also, they said this on Reddit, so if it's wrong, like, please don't blame me. Thanks. Nolan being taught and living in the human condition changed him. He learned to appreciate the little things, and as a result, this broke him down and forced him to question his Viltrum ideals. Unfortunately, this wasn't enough, and it wasn't until committing his atrocities on Earth that he felt regret, killing thousands and nearly his son before flying away in shame. After leaving Earth, Nolan aimlessly flies through space, eventually finding a black hole and beginning to fly into it before saving a nearby Thraxian spaceship hurling right into it. Once he brought the beings on the spaceship back home, he felt as though he had purpose again. Saving and protecting helpless beings, it was like he got a fresh start. And after learning from his actions on Earth, he started to care for the Thraxians regardless of their extremely short lifespan. He eventually tricks Mark into coming there to help defend the planet from the Viltrumites coming for it. And after a lot of hesitation, Mark agrees, and sees his dad's confliction after he says this.
Why do I care about them? They were weak, short-lived, barely a species. They shouldn't matter to me.
After the battle, Nolan gets captured by the Viltrumites after Mark hesitates to kill, and is slowly convinced by the GOAT after watching the Viltrumites nearly kill him. He finally breaks his old Viltrumite ways and joins the war. So now that we're all caught up, how could someone possibly change their ideals after 2,000 plus years of firm belief? Well, first, this shows Omni-Man isn't a psychopath. He clearly cares for people, even if his way of helping them is extremely morbid. If he lacked empathy, he simply wouldn't care, regardless of the relationship he made with his family on Earth. The human brain becomes less accepting of new ideas the older it gets. It's honestly a miracle Omni-Man changed, especially considering what 20 years feels like to someone who's 2,000. Okay, if we assume Omni-Man is 2,000 years old, which is the youngest he could be, then he spent the equivalent of a single day on Earth. As you get older, your perception of time changes, making longer periods feel shorter. Debbie really tutored this man for a day, and it changed his entire outlook on life. His confliction is something I can't help but feel bad for. Obviously, what he did is absolutely terrible, but if we were raised the same way as him, we would have been raised with the same ideals. We would have been bred to be an unstoppable murdering machine. As mentioned at the beginning, I haven't read the comics. I've been enjoying the show a lot, and I want to experience everything that happens for the first time through animation. Call me a baby. Call me a little baby boy that doesn't want to read. I don't care. That being said, I could be so wrong. This is just where I see the series going. As of this video, the show is on Season 3, Episode 7, so Nolan has already joined the Coalition of Planets and plans to help in the Viltrumite War. Unless he decides to betray them, this seems to be the clear path that the show is taking him. Omni-Man was one of the first Viltrumites to betray their own kind, the first being Thetis, the leader of the Coalition. The odds were fully against him joining Mark in the war against Viltrum, but due to his time on Earth, being around humans made him soft, and through Debbie's teachings, he became aware of what life is truly about. Regardless of the state of civilization a planet has, it's still their own, and has every right to survive and thrive in their own way. Thanks for watching. This is my first YouTube video, so I apologize if I may have missed some things, but I'm excited to make more videos in the future. And if you want to follow for more content like this, make sure to like and subscribe, baby. See ya.